to do today. The whole new acronym thing drives me effing bananas. Can we call him by his name?
Felger and Mazz on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
That was always sort of in the cards. The stakes for her were always higher. And not necessarily because she's a woman, but because, and I do acknowledge that women get treated differently than the men in these situations often, and that's not fair. But the reason the stakes were always higher for her was because she actually works in an industry and for an institution that has standards and rules and tries to hold their employees to them. Where the NFL, we know, has zero moral compass. It's basically just dependent on what you produce on the field, what you produce for the teams, what you're worth, and if what you produce is more than they're paying you, then they let you get away with anything. And so Vrabel, coming off of a Super Bowl year, having turned the thing around here in New England, did not have much to lose in this professionally. Personally, different story. So Russini bears the consequence of it. But I would say, Mazz, that there are consequences here for Vrabel. I mean, I think what happened here exposes him as a liar.
Yeah.
I mean, that statement that he gave to the Post immediately following the publication of those pictures has basically been exposed. I mean, his boss isn't looking at it, but hers did. Hers took one look at it and said, bull crap. And she lost her job because of it. And by extension, it exposes him too. So I said it from day one. He takes a dent here. I don't know how you look at him the same way. And again, to what degree is all up to you and your moral standards and how you look at things. But it's impossible not to look at him the exact same way today as you did 6 days ago.
Yeah, look, I mean, again, not to sound like the caller, I felt that way from the very beginning. Like I felt, now this is a, formalization of it from Dianna Russini's perspective. But to your point, like I think Vrabel was like Teflon with this, until now. He was damn near perfect in the eyes of Patriots fans.
And even, on sort of this front where he calls on Karen every time first at a press conference. He did it in Tennessee with the female reporter as well. And I think that played really well. It sort of made him look gentlemanly. I don't know what adjective you want to use there.
Yeah, I would even say equitable. Like,
chivalrous or equitable.
Yeah, or just, that I will take, a woman reporter in a man's sport every bit as seriously, if not more so, than a man. I mean, it was respectful.
Yes.
Highly respectful.
Don't you look at that?
Yes.
Yeah, it feels like a facade.
Differently.
Yeah, it feels like a PR ploy, which is probably what it was from the beginning.
So you're confident enough in your own skin to play that side of it and do that thing, but you just run around like the rest of them.
Yeah. So no, right, Mike.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Look, we've talked about this in sort of a different dimension with Vrabel. He plays the game well.
It's almost, you could make the case now, because the stories come out, a cynic like me looks at that as you're overcompensating. You're doing that not for real reasons,
Yeah.
That's what that kind of feels like.
So however it lands with you, it's just, I don't know how you feel the same way about it today as you did 7 days ago.
Yeah, you got to look at him now with more skepticism and cynicism than you did before. And I was saying, when we talked about Vrabel during the course of the year and how the national media just gave him a tongue bath every single time his name came up. Mike Vrabel, the great Mike Vrabel. And what he's done with the team and what a coaching job. And he plays the game well. He comes off as sincere and genuine, and maybe he is. I'm not telling you he's not. But it comes off that way, and now you look at it and say, okay, well, so is there a method to his madness? Is it all more contrived than we're giving it credit for?
And here's the other thing. I think that raises the stakes just in terms of perception for this year. In other words, let's see how this year plays out. If they fall on their face, I think people will bring this up because it's related to how successful you are. Meaning, if they weren't 14-3 in the Super Bowl, if they were 5-12 and still struggling, if this were Gerard Mayo, you'd look at the coach and go, you're a mess. You're a mess off the field. You don't know what you're doing on the field. This is all one piece. You're all over the place, man. That's how you would look at him if he were 4-13. But because he's 13-4, you look at it differently, or 14-3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's related. Now, if they have a bad year this year, I think people are going to sort of put it together, put a couple different things together. What happens to teams that have success early on? Guys want to get paid. There's contract disputes. Guys get ahead of themselves. Guys get a little loose. You start running around, whatever. So if they fall on their face this year, I think it's going to be easy to look back and go, Chris Gonzalez was more worried about getting paid than showing up for the team, and the team pitches a bat, and now the guys want to get paid, and they have problems on the contract, and the coach can't keep it in his pants, and they're all out going to Pound Town the night after the AFC title game. Remember the hookah party?
Yeah.
Again, hookah party downtown, and it's like, oh, well, they immediately let it go to their heads, and what do you expect? They just sort of, like any team that has success too early, they let it go.
It's ammo.
And I think it just sort of gets wrapped into. It's all dependent on how the team does.
Yeah, look, again, I think of it in these terms too. The next time his contract comes up, if there are gray areas when they sit down, you don't think the team's going to bring it up?
They'll use anything they can at the table.
Yeah, it's leverage. Ultimately, he's given people leverage. And so the door is now open for the first misstep for someone to say, now that this has happened, I did want to say something about what happened, a little while back with Russini. Like, people will throw it in his face. It's the way the world works.
Just to use the extreme example, do we think Belichick's personal life informs us on his abilities as a coach and how he's carrying himself as a coach?
Yes.
Yes, these days, yeah.
100% we do. When Urban Meyer did that thing.
Yes.
Did we tie it into how he was coaching the football team and said, you're a mess, the whole thing?
Yes.
Where's your head? Again, because we were so angry with the Red Sox and the Globe at the time, the Bob Holler story on Terry Francona, we sort of blamed the team, but another way to look at it was, the whole thing was a mess. Not just the players and the drinking in the clubhouse and the fried chicken and all of that, the chicken and beer. No, the manager would let it go too. It was all sort of wrapped together.
Correct.
So I just think this might be a little lower scale than those examples. Certainly Belichick or Francona, Urban Meyer. I mean, again, if they fall on their face this year, I think people are going to look back and go, well, the coach lost his mind immediately. You know what I mean? Just along those lines. So keep an eye on it. All right, I promise. Back to your reaction right after these words.
Boston's best sports talk. You can count on it.
2 plus 2 is a 5.
Me sento un po' pacchiato perché
Felger and Mazz.
I think it's fair game to ask the AP for individual ballots. And I'm curious about her Coach of the Year ballot. And I don't know what it's going to show. And, hey, Vrabel won. And it's not even close. It's not like if you throw her votes out, Liam Cohen wins.
Yeah.
But I think that there's one very interesting potential outcome on her ballot, and it would be if Vrabel is first and the next 4 are guys who had no chance to win, and then Liam Cohen's not even on the ballot. That's the thing that would be very interesting if that's how her ballot goes. And it's fair game at this point to say, and I've asked the AP to disclose the ballot because I'm just curious to see what it shows, because I've heard from enough people in the media who are concerned about the integrity of the voting, and think about people bet on this stuff. Like, there has to be clear integrity of the voting process, but that's the next frontier in all of this. From a news gathering standpoint, what was her ballot for 2025? And is there anything else in there that seems unusual?
Florio, earlier before the news came that Russini resigned today, for Coach of the Year ballot.
Yeah, it's a great one.
I don't know Vrabel might have incentives tied to it. He might. Players have MVP incentives tied to their contracts. Could a Coach of the Year earn Vrabel some more money?
Sure.
And as Florio said, her vote wouldn't have swung it, but it'd just be curious to see the ballot. Did she give, if Liam Cohen was a clear number 2 and she put him 6th?
No, right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's another thing. Like, this is, in some respects, the story has just started, folks. It took a week. but it's kind of just started.
I mean, I didn't even think about the awards earlier in the week. Like, people have said, go back and look at the stories, what's been reported. Did she break this? Did she break that? Et cetera. And the awards is a great one to bring up. I mean, that is one that totally can be manipulated.
All right, I want your reaction. Do try and be quick if you can, please. Will in Holliston. Go ahead, Will.
Hey, how's it going, Felger?
Good. What do you got?
I was just calling to see what's going on with the whole Mike Vrabel thing. I think this is not even really a story. I just think that it's just a guy doing what he got to do.
Yeah, well,
no one really cares. I mean, like, I got friends in other places and different cities and so forth. No one cares about this story in your voice. No one cares.
I don't believe that. I think people care.
They do care.
Here's an example of that, by the way. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
but
go ahead.
We posted the YouTube video of our real-time reaction less than an hour ago. 12,000 views already.
People care. I mean, if you're a fan of the team, your instinct is to go, well, no one cares because it hurts you, because it's a story that hurts the team and puts you in a negative light. So you deflect that by saying no one really cares. It's not true.
If you're a female sports journalist who's been on the level and always done your job the right way, I would think you care about this.
Well, that segment certainly does. You have an example, Murray?
Yes, this was just pointed out to me. Chrissy Freud is her name. She covers NFL college football for USA Today, and she retweeted Dianna Russini's resignation letter.
Would you please spell her last name?
F-R-O-Y-D.
Got it.
Chrissy with a C. Chrissy Freud.
Yep.
So she retweeted Dianna Russini's letter of resignation to The Athletic, and she quote tweeted it by saying, "I'm sure you were told to submit this or you'd get fired instead. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. We know who you really are and what you've been up to for years. It does so much detriment to women in sports who have done things the right way."
So she covers college football for USA Today, you said?
Yeah.
So.
Damning testimony.
You bet.
Yeah, and so again, I just think that, and these are, I'd be eager to hear from more women who probably, or if they feel the other way, which is that there's some sort of rush to judgment. But I'd be willing to bet the people that are angriest at her are people who work in the field of the same sex. That women look at it and say, "What are you doing?"
Mary in Manchester, what do you think?
Hi, guys. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad that she lost her job because I know that she's, been a long-time reporter. But, there's no victimhood here. She put herself in a very precarious position. And I also think that, one or both of the spouses were onto them because I think that they were trying to be discreet. But you read us something yesterday, Mike, from a friend, a source, or something that said that this hotel was known to be a place where, high-end people took their mistresses because they had a very secretive policy.
They have a policy
no
no photos are allowed on the property.
Right. So the hotel had no incentive to out them. So obviously, I think it was a private investigator hired by one of the spouses to catch them because they knew something was up. So I think this story has a lot of legs. I
still wonder if whoever was quote unquote after him is still after him. And I say that so. This is from The Guardian. The Guardian reported that in a Slack message to staffers at The Athletic, executive editor Steven Ginsburg confirmed that Dianna Russini has resigned. And he wrote to the staff, quote, "While I can't share the details of our investigation into Dianna's conduct, I want to emphasize that the leadership of The Athletic has taken this matter seriously from the moment we learned about it." Ginsburg confirmed that The Athletic's review of her work, conducted by standards editor Mike Siemel, will continue. He also acknowledged the shifting messages. Quote, "When this situation was brought to our attention last week, there were clear concerns, but we received a detailed explanation, and it was our instinct to support and defend a colleague while we continued to review the matter. As additional information emerged, new questions were raised that became part of our investigation." It's that last line.
Mm-hmm.
So originally The Athletic got her back and supported her. But as additional information emerged, new questions were raised that became part of our investigation. So they're uncovering more stuff.
Yeah.
Or someone's uncovering it for them. Yes.
It's probably as simple as her boss is saying, "Hey, where's the photos of the girls' trip?"
Or if someone's after her, someone dropped a dime.
Yeah,
hey,
right.
Listen, for your investigation, you should know ... If someone was out to bury her, They just called The Athletic and say, here's something you may want to know.
Is it possible they didn't know about the stuff at the Washington football team a number of years back?
Impossible not to.
That's what I think.
It's not even,
so
I was going to say the worst kept
that.
secret in the NFL. It wasn't even secret what happened with her and the then Redskins and the GM and that whole thing. Like, that was public. So, yeah, they had to have known. How could they not have known? Tommy in Milwaukee, he's a Boston guy. He's actually driving to the Sox game tonight in Minnesota. Is that true, Tommy?
That is true. I was so inspired by them last night. I figured I should go and take a look tonight.
Bring a glove.
Yeah, exactly. No, quick question about Garrett Crochet. Did you feel better or worse about his comments after the game? And then, too, Felger, just want to open up the floor 10 seconds on thoughts of the Wisconsin hockey team this weekend. Thanks.
I'm not going to subject people to that. You don't care about Wisconsin hockey. Why should you? So, but the first thing, Crochet postgame, you want to play it quickly, Jimmy? We pulled a cut. We were going to play it earlier, but the Russini thing happened. Here's Crochet postgame.
Command as a whole has been spotty. Gotten away with it a little this early in the year, but tonight they made me pay. It was weak contact, hard contact, walks, hit by pitch, a little bit of everything.
You've never had a night like that in your career. How kind of just a little strange was it to just go through that?
It's tough. I guess. I don't really have anything to say. I'm just going to flush it. As best I can, move on to the next one. They had a good approach.
Your velocity was down as well. Any ideas why that was the case?
How down?
Mile and a half.
I don't think that's anything to fret over. Yeah.
Was there any difference for you between the first and second inning?
The first was a little bit better. I got 3 outs, and the second only got 2.
So he made a joke about it at the end. Do you feel better or worse after hearing that postgame, Mazz?
Can I say neither? To me, he got his face kicked in. I'm still concerned about his velocity being down.
Is a mile and a half nothing to be worried about?
It was more than a mile and a half.
He said, okay, go ahead.
I think it was more than that.
Yep.
Again, his fastball is around 94, 95, 94 and a half, call it.
You don't get hit like that, and it's it's just down a tick.
Yeah, he throws 97, 98 routinely. So, I don't buy that for a second. The velocity was down. I think pitchers lie about their injuries. I think teams lie about the injuries and cover it up. If you said to me, he's not going to make his next start because in 2 days he's going to be put on the injured list, would I be surprised? My answer is no.
Jimmy?
Milliken said on the midday show that his baseball savant page, Garrett Crochet, has his arm angle at 5 degrees lower, which I would interpret as maybe he's hiding an injury.
Yeah, look, there's something there. Now, again, I don't know what it could be. Tipping pitches. I have no idea. Maybe they know what was coming.
When he says good approach, sometimes that's a euphemism.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they had something.
And there were a couple of them where they were breaking balls or, cutters or whatever that were down. And they went down and freaking belted him.
Oh, so to me, like he mentions, it was everything soft contact, hit by pitch, walks. No. That wasn't the thing that stood out. But the thing that stood out is how they barreled you up. Like I have not seen contact like that against anyone in a long time. That was a freaking laser show.
Rockets. And to all parts of the field. Again, there was a right-handed hitter who hit one off the wall in right center field.
It was still stunning.
And they were missiles.
John in the car on Vrabel Russini. Quick.
Mike, I don't know if you guys remember the clip. I forget who she was on with, but she said, who was the last coach that yelled at you? And she said, Vrabel. So I'm not sure what she got yelled at about, but perhaps it was something to do with this. But Tony, you said it best when Scheffler would have just got suspended. It was when, LT fell asleep in the meeting and the coach said, well, he fell asleep. And Parcells said to start the meeting later. If she was worth keeping around, they would have. My question more is, why aren't people covering this? What's changed over the years where all of a sudden this has become a radioactive topic when it used to this would have been all over the place nationwide?
Well, let me tell you, John.
Something's changed journalism-wise.
It's a good question. It hasn't changed journalism-wise. It's changed. I think people don't want to be the bad. I think media people don't want to be the bad guy. Like I think Colin Cowherd's thing that we played earlier was bullcrap. Is ethical versus moral. Now that there's a run afoul, we could talk about no. And I love Colin, and he's no shrieking violet, but he didn't want to deal with it. a lot of media people don't want to be the bad guy because they're online and they have to hear from you and they just don't want to deal with it.
Well, in this case, too, they got to see her. I mean, they probably...
And they also know her, and they know and like Vrabel, and so they don't want to piss off those folks. Excellent, Murray, of course, yes. That's like kind of the obvious thing. And you're right. But the secondary thing is, a lot of fans are going to say, why are you talking about the tabloid stuff? Is that all you're about? Why are you just talking about this trash? Why don't you talk about football? You're talking about their bedroom now? What, are you Mr. Perfect? Oh, glass houses. Oh, what about you? What about when you did blah, blah, blah? And you open up a whole, you're the bad guy. No one wants to be the bad guy. No one wants to hear it. And so it's better off just, I'll ignore it. Never mind. And I think that's the big one. And never mind being a bad guy to someone you know or work with like Russini or deal with like Vrabel or cover if you're a media guy. It's everyone online. And they just don't want to hear it. So no one wants to be the bad guy.
I mean, that's a big part of it. There's no question about that.
This is why you have Felger and Mazz.
I also think, look, the world's a really different place. I mean, every time you go out now, there's a phone waiting to take a picture of you no matter who you are. And so you get in an argument at the grocery store over being in line or something. It's on the internet in 5 minutes. So I think people get sick of that too, whether they're media people or not. I'm just saying that I think part of it is a rebellion against, and I'm not saying that Russini and Vrabel should be defended, but the intrusion on people's lives. I think people are tired of that. So, because everybody's been busted for something, doing something stupid, and it gets old. So I don't understand, again, and this is sort of a separate thing.
No, I get it.
Because at the end of the day, they left themselves exposed. Okay? And they wouldn't have gone there if they were doing something that they knew was right. You follow me?
Of course.
They tried to hide it.
No, but your point, did John's point, how come the media doesn't cover this the way we used to have? You're saying is it's pushback against everyone taking pictures of everyone doing everything every day and enough. So I got to follow all these?
I mean, I think there's some of that.
There is some of that.
Some of that.
It's fair enough. But if it were a positive development, if Vrabel's
it's a good point.
If Vrabel's privacy and Russini's privacy was intruded and they were helping homeless and hungry children to feed and house them, do you think they'd be upset that people were infringing on their privacy?
No,
not at all.
Or the media wouldn't pick it up?
No.
Okay, so I think no one wants to be the bad guy, is what it is. Everyone's chicken bleep. Here's Murray's update, and then we come back and get back to the matter at hand, the most important matter.
Oh, the big board.
Big board! At a big position, too. Edge. We throw for edge right after the headlines. I want to get to the gossip first.
Everything you said is right.
Felger and Mazz, the Sports Zone.
Now comes defensive ends.
Throwing green. Color of money.
Let's do it.
Here it comes. Go. Oh, the mark. That left a good mark.
That was a good shot, Mazz. That was a strong. You put a hole in the thing. Keon White, Georgia Tech.
Oh!
Put him on the board. Let's go to page 3. That was a mess. That was forceful. Maybe some of your best work there.
That was a laser.
Wow. I feel like that's going to be a hit because it's just a laser.
That was a freaking bullet.
Keon White, Georgia Tech.
Okay, this guy I'm interested in.
6'4", 285.
Yeah, got a little more girth.
He's a competent run defender with the size and strength profile to set the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Rangy enough to reach quarterbacks in space.
Mm-hmm.
Could be used as an inside rusher on passing downs.
Love that.
Comfortable as a brawler. Floor seems relatively high given his physical tools.
See, I'm telling you, the Pats like this kind of guy.
Weaknesses. Athleticism will be exposed against most NFL blockers.
Yeah, they don't care about athleticism.
This is true. Hands tend to wade around without having urgency or decisiveness.
That's coachable.
What happens when hands wade around?
So it's like learning how to swim. You do the dog paddle.
Lacks the power to fight through double teams and force penetration.
Fix that with steroids.
Energy as a pass rusher tends to run hot and cold from snap to snap.
Again, Bill will get it on his ass. They'll get it out of him.
But that's the things about pass rushers. It's exhausting to rush the passer down after down after down. So those guys, take plays off. It just happens.
With the 46th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Keon White, defensive end, Georgia Tech.
one of our edge selections that were right. We had Trey Flowers and that was Keon White.
Keon White.
So we've hit every position on the board, I think, including edge, and that's where we are tonight. Edge is the latest in the big board, on the big board, and it's brought to you again by the Peterson School. The Peterson School is drafting instructors for all locations. If you're an expert in your trade and want to share your knowledge, visit petersonschool.com. We have our Lindy's Sports Annual Draft Guide pinned to the big whiteboard here. We got Mazz and Murray across the studio with little Nerf footballs and a marker in the nose of them. We chuck them at the magazine, and that's who the Patriots will be looking at in the draft. You're already laughing, Mazz? Why?
I'm laughing because the big board already looks like the surface of the moon. There are pock marks all over
it's
the thing.
taken quite a beating already. If you're watching earlier, we had Barth throw one. He actually took out the new camera that we have that resides over the magazine to give you just sort of a bullseye look at the throw. But either way, edge is on the board. 3 pages of edge players. Murray, you have the first throw. This is the first page. Well, listen, the integrity of the board was where it lands at where it lands. So let's see where you go with this.
Whip it. Oh, that was horrible.
Horrible.
That was way low.
Way low and right.
No ABS challenge on that one. Wasn't even close.
Derek Moore, Michigan. And if he misses the magazine, which he just did by a country mile, it's the closest to.
Murray's upset.
The closest to is the name in the bottom right, Derek Moore, Michigan. Put him on the board.
Derek Moore. When Murray doesn't say anything, you know he's accepting the criticism.
Oh my God. You yanked that one. All right, Mazz, go ahead.
Blue. I'm going with blue.
See it, Mazz.
Oh,
that was just as bad as mine.
Yup, another one.
That was really bad. Wow. I overthrew that.
Going with the picture?
Well, nope. It was actually in the lower left. So
Lower
it's
left.
This name right here is Donnie Dennis Sutton. Penn
Donnie
State.
Dennis.
Donnie, well, no, it's Donnie, and then the last name is Dennis Sutton.
Oh.
Double D.
Yes. D.
Murray's got the money ball. Color of money.
Hold on. Stand by. Third page. Stand by. Will you try and hit the magazine, please?
All right, that was all. It was an
this
overthrow.
You guys are freaking, what got into you?
We got cold. We haven't been
Come
doing
on.
this late.
That was an overthrow. Oh, that was pretty good. That
it.
left a mark.
Yep, sure did.
Good job, Murray.
Mikhail Kamara, Indiana.
That
Stand by. I got to get back in position to read these. Stand by.
I actually bet on myself on DraftKings to throw a ball.
All right. Edge players. Position of need. A lot of people think that's where they're going at 31. Could one of these players be in their range? What did I say? The first one was Derek Moore, Michigan. 6'3", 265. A consistent contributor and a player on an upward trajectory. Moore is a prospect who may deceive you with his numbers and age, 23, but in fact has one of the highest ceilings in this year's class.
Oh.
Highly productive player who finished his career on a roll, generating 10.5 sacks for the Wolverines. He possesses an ideal frame for a 4-3 defensive end with the strength and athleticism to make a seamless transition to the league. He stays parallel to the line of scrimmage, Mazz, while diagnosing, preventing himself from overcommitting. He converts speed to power without any hitches, which makes his only truly effective move, a bull rush, devastating in wider alignments. When he lands his punches, they hit like a bag of concrete.
Wow.
Shocking blockers. Elite get-off that forces tacklers to set deeper. That forces tackles to set deeper. His weakness is, Mazz, he often plays with a high pad level as a pass rusher, which can lead him to getting stalled out. Interesting way to put that. Exactly.
You got to fix the carburetor.
This is also problematic as his pass rush is heavily reliant on the bull rush, rarely turning to other moves. He lacks an effective counter move if he can't just plow through blockers.
I hate guys like this.
Moore is old for a high ceiling product as he'll turn 24 during his rookie season. He can struggle to disengage with blockers defending the run. Okay?
Middling pass rusher from Michigan. This is Chase Winovich all over again.
Yeah.
Just go. Does it say what
throw
round
ahead.
he's projected to go in? Does it say
Second or third? Barthy, your thoughts quickly.
Maybe a little more Josh Uche than Chase Winovich, but yeah, kind of that idea. He could be a target for them. Really powerful rusher, plays with a high motor, good violence. Would like to see him be a little more developed in his pass rush, and that's where being older maybe hurts him a bit. But he seems like their kind of guy. Like in terms of getting a hit, I think he's a good pick.
It's amazing. Barthy knows all these guys.
But the idea that he doesn't have any counter moves is like Keon White.
I know,
all over
exactly.
again.
It's exactly Keon White. Right.
Oh, God.
Donnie Dennis Sutton, Penn State, strengths, great hand placement and usage for a young edge. Looks to have the technical polish to come into the league and make an immediate impact. Has a deep bag of pass rush moves.
All right.
And maneuvers to help him break down the tactics of offensive linemen. He looks to have the frame, bulk, and length of a top NFL edge rusher. Good run defender who finds ways to shed from strong hands and work his way toward the running lane. All right. What's the matter with him?
Donnie Dennis. How big is he?
6'5", 265.
Okay,
That's
not bad.
big.
Pretty good.
Weaknesses. Athletic traits are extremely limited. Extremely limited. Extremely.
Extremely.
And Dennis Sutton just might not have the movement ability to make his way around offensive tackles if they push him around the arc. He got outstepped and outmaneuvered by offensive tackles who were on the level of guys in the pros. Does not finish plays well. And his tackling form overall needs work before you can trust him to take his production to the next level.
This guy sucks.
Can't move, can't tackle.
Yeah, he doesn't have the ability. He's got the technique, but not the ability. Out. I'm out.
Put him on the board.
I don't want Donnie Dennis.
Mikhail Kamara. Murray hit this one strong. Do you have a thought on him quickly, Barthy, the previous kid?
Yeah, I actually like Dennis Sutton. He was much better in 24 than he was in 25. So was that Penn State being worse, or was that him not playing next to Abdul Carter anymore? He's a really well-rounded player. I thought he tested better at the combine than expected. I like him for them because he's one of the few three-down guys on day 2.
Suck on that, Mazz. Mikhail Kamara from the national champion Indiana Hoosiers.
Okay, now we're talking.
Strengths. Kamara has active hands that are always looking to swipe away a blocker's punch, preventing foes from latching on. Elite motor. Don't all those Indiana guys? That team plays hard.
Yeah, they do.
That's really, they're really great to watch, frankly.
Great team to watch.
They are. Elite motor and looks to chase players to the sideline. Wide variety of pass rush moves using anything from a swipe to a rip to an effective bull rush when working from a wider alignment. Stack and shed technique, elite hand usage, and above average strength to make him a force defending the run. Weakness. Short in stature with an extremely small wingspan.
Oh, boy.
Great. He's 6 feet, 260.
So when he's swiping, he's doing it like this.
Yep.
It'd be a good matchup for Campbell in practice.
Kamara is going to struggle to generate separation at the NFL level. He can be late off the snap, which combined with his middling athleticism is going to take him out of plays before they can truly start.
Forget this guy.
Stiff player. I just would hate to be described like that. Stiff player who struggles to change directions, which could make him a liability. Okay. He's projected in the 6th round. Barthy, a quick thought?
I think that's all just about right. He actually he's lost some weight. He was playing closer to 280. He reminds me a little bit more of Keon White than, I forget who you said for Keon White before.
It's a bad
reminds me a little bit of
sign.
Keon White.
Bad sign when Barth thinks you suck.
Real quick, Scott, I left you on hold for over 2 hours. What's your question? I don't want to leave you hanging.
Who do you think the Patriots are going to get in the NFL draft?
Barthy, who's the latest on your, again, you said this earlier, but tell me who's the latest on your mock draft board.
Max Ihanachor, right tackle, Arizona State.
Is that the guy that Vrabel was glad handling before he was glad handling?
Yeah, that's a guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just quickly, Barth, who did you have in your first mock draft? You haven't taken an edge guy?
Yeah, Akeem Mesidor from Miami. I thought he'd fall because teams would care more about him being 25, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
25.
Jesus.
Holy crap.
Let's do a quick email, shall we, please?
Wow.
It's the Coleman Electric email of the day. Dear Felger, I really hate you. And I think Mazz is a boob.
It's electric.
The Coleman Electric email of the day.
It's electric.
Send yours to Felger at 985thesportshub.com.
Email today brought to you by Coleman Electric, a bunch of really good electricians helping homeowners like you. When you need an electrician, call Coleman.
It's electric.
Kuhlman. They are the preferred Generac dealer for generators here in Boston. So that's who you want to call if you're in the market for a Generac, and you should be. We talked earlier about the Toronto Maple Leafs tanking their way right into a top 5 pick and porking the Bruins out of a 6th or 7th overall pick this year. And you know me, I'm not really the draft guy, but if the Bruins don't get the Maple Leafs pick this year, it conveys to next year where it's top 10 protected, but I think the Leafs are going to rebound next year and be a pretty decent team. So you're talking about, you're shaking your head, Kevin, you don't think they're going to be any good? No?
No, if it's outside the top 10, you don't get the pick next year. It goes to 28.
If it's outside the top 10 next year, it goes to 28?
Yeah, because Philly, they traded the 2027 pick to Philly. If it's inside the top 10, Toronto chooses between Boston and Philly for the pick. If it's outside of the top 10, it goes to Philly, and then the 26th pick goes to 28.
Ooh.
So we want him inside the top 10? Or they swap? Whatever. All I'm saying is...
Wow, I've never heard of anything like that.
I actually couldn't even compute what he just said. The point is, if Toronto finishes in the 6th or 7th draft position, you get that pick this year.
Yes, and that's what you should be rooting for.
If they don't, Pork City.
Yep.
It's a big swing, and I'm not a draft guy. But the difference between the 6th or 7th pick and whatever, something in the 20s in a couple of years, that's a big-ass difference. So we were talking earlier about the Maple Leafs tanking their way right all the way into the top. Right now they're in the 5th lottery position. Subject line, all caps, Mike, you don't know the rules. From Swaggy Docs, who's all angry with me, like the anger of the...
Oh, no, don't get Swaggy Docs angry.
Okay, Swaggy. He says the Leafs are not safe at the 5th position in the lottery. Even at the 5th best odds, there is a 58% chance the Leafs fall out of the top 5 and the Bruins get the pick. In fact, the exact same thing happened to the Bruins last year when they fell from 5 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if the Bruins win tonight, the Senators game against the Leafs tomorrow becomes completely meaningless. So both teams might not try at all, and that could get interesting to look at the odds, go to Tankathon and press odds. The one thing that can't happen is the Leafs lose out and the Flames get at least 3 points in their last 2 games, and then the Leafs get into the 4th best odds and basically guarantee a top 5 pick. So even at the 5th best odds, there's a 58% chance that they won't finish in the top 5. Kevin?
Yeah, I remember this with the Bruins.
So that is true?
Yeah.
Okay, Swaggy. I don't know the rules. All right, it's complicated. Jesus.
Well, no, I knew they weren't. They're not locked into it, though, because it is a lottery. If someone jumps from the back into the top 5 and Toronto finishes 5, they get pushed out.
What are the better chances of them landing outside the top 5? With the 5th most ping pong balls or the 6th?
I'd say the 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want them in the 6th spot.
Correct.
In the 6th spot, they only have something like an 8% chance of getting in there. So I'll take my odds at 6, Swaggy.
I'm not Swaggy. I didn't email you.
We would have put all of that under the umbrella of the final word, which is brought to you by Town Fair Tire. Looking for the best deal on tires, only one place to go. It's Town Fair Tire, the best prices and great free services. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Nobody. Swaggy Docs, all angry. I don't know the odds. I'm sorry. I don't know. I guess I don't, Swaggy. Either way, Bruins are on tonight. Mazz has got the baseball hour up until then.
Yes, indeed. We have a 30-minute show tonight because of the Bruins game. So people want to get in and lament about what's going on with Garrett Crochet. This is the place to do it. And I will tell you, damaging loss last night, and not just because your ace got his ass kicked. You had won 2 in a row. Everyone assumed it was kind of a layup. You're going in to play the Twins. You're going to win that series. That's what everyone thought. That was a kick in the nuts, that game.
More on that with Mazz coming up on the baseball hour. Sorry, we're late. Quick word from our sponsors, then you get Mazz. We're back at it tomorrow, too. Talk to you then, fellers.
Bye.